Kickapoo High School. It's the Cable 6 High School Basketball Game of the Week, matching the Glendale Falcons and the Kickapoo Chiefs. Good evening, everyone, from out on the prairie in South Springfield. We welcome you to Cable 6 High School Basketball at Kickapoo. It's the Chiefs and the Falcons renewing the old rivalry of the South Side. Hi again, everyone. Don West. Rob Evans is on hiatus tonight, and so Steve Barnes makes his debut with us this season once again. And Steve, you picked a good one to show up at tonight. This one was a dandy earlier in the season out at Glendale, 52-49, a win for the Chiefs when the Falcons led throughout. We look for much of the same tonight.
Last second shot fell through for Roy Green's ball club, and I don't leave the house for just any game, I'll tell you. We've done some great Kickapoo Glendale games over the years, and this one should be no different. Kickapoo 10-7 overall, 2-3 in the conference. Glendale 14-6 and 3-2, and you can't help but think back as we come into this gym again about the back-to-back district championship ball clubs that Roy Green's put out there on the court. They ran the table last year in the conference, went 10-0, 9-1 the year before that, started off 1-0 this year. They'd won 20 consecutive Ozark Conference games, and this year's edition has a lot to live up to.
And Glendale, of course, is coming off of last year's rebuilding year in which they have managed to go 14-6 with this young group of players and a winning record in the conference at 3-2. Parkview very nearly has the Ozark Conference race wrapped up. They've got a 2-game lead on the loss side against all comers now. Glendale at 3-2, and Central is 3-2. They've played some really good ball in the last week or two. They're at Hillcrest tonight, and Joplin is over at Parkview in other conference games. Kickapoo is 2-3 in the conference, tied with Hillcrest and Joplin at 0-5.
And there's 2 more full weeks of basketball action before we head into district play. I was talking to Roy Green before the ball game, and the Kickapoo coach seemed to think that the winner of tonight's game would get the 2nd seed in the district tournament behind Parkview. Now this year the district will be held at Glendale, and I was trying to think the last time that the Falcons hosted the district tournament. Usually it's either here or out of town, and that should be very interesting. And Coach Green said he really didn't care if he was 2nd or 3rd, because if you're 2nd, you get a bye and you don't play, and if you're 3rd, you get that first game under your belt. So it'll be interesting to see how tonight turns out.
Going back 5 or 6 years, the tournament, the old district tournament, was at Glendale, and for a few years before that, but it's been a while since the Falcons have hosted. And as we noted last night on our girls telecast between these 2 schools, these teams are in the same district, and only one of them is going to emerge and play in the sectional round, and these 2 teams are going to have a tough time with Parkview on the boys' side. We'll be back to get things started from Kickapoo High School live on Cable 6 right after this. Don West and Steve Barnes at Kickapoo High School. These teams are set to be introduced, and then we'll have basketball tonight here on Cable 6, the Falcons and the Chiefs. And Steve, we'd be remiss if we didn't start with what unfortunately for Kickapoo was one of their toughest losses they've had to swallow in ages. Tuesday night here at home against Parkview, the Vikings did not lead in the game until the last second of the game when they tipped in the winning basket, and Parkview walked out of here with a win when they trailed the rest of the way.
Before the break, we were talking about how Kickapoo did that very same thing to Glendale at home, so I suppose turnabout was fair play with the Vikings involved, and that'll give the Glendale bunch, as you see being introduced to the crowd right there, a little bit of extra incentive tonight to avenge that home court loss, although when they play Kickapoo, I don't know if they need any extra incentive.
Roy Green is worried about the factor of coming out flat in a game like this because of Tuesday night's disheartening loss, and the Chiefs have had some tough ones this year. They have lost 4 games by a total of 7 points. So that difference right there could make the difference between a 10-7 season and a 14-3 season, and you're talking about 1 basket in each case.
I think the coach is sandbagging just a little bit when he's worried about his team being flat. Not against the Glendale Falcons at home. I don't think so.
Kickapoo has lost to Hillcrest, Central, and Parkview, as we said, in the conference. The Central and Parkview games went right down to the wire. And Glendale coming in with a 3-2 conference record. They have beaten Joplin, Central, and Hillcrest, and lost, as we said, in the first meeting to Kickapoo and to the Parkview Vikings. Starters tonight have been introduced to the crowd. We'll take a look at them here. David Ross and Wes Pickering are the Glendale guards. That's Blake Will that starts in the middle. Corey Nybert and Carter Clark are the forwards. And for the Chiefs, Mark Mayer, Chad Morris is a starter, really at a guard, and Ryan Stock, who has come up from the junior varsity, is in there. Brian George, the big man at 6'9" in the middle, and Robbie Lee.
It'll be interesting to see how this game starts. Sort of a contrast in styles if past history has anything to do with this. Glendale has always been very deliberate in the half court. They've always played very good defense, and they've always shot their free throws extremely well. Kickapoo likes to move it up and down the floor. Over the past 3 or 4 years, Roy Green's ball clubs have averaged between 70 and about 80 points a game. They're down closer to 60 as you get a look at Coach Green in his 14th season, 256 victories under his belt. He said he'd like to loosen things up a little bit and try to push the tempo, while Coach Keltner's ball club, of course, likes to keep tempo a little bit slower, walk it up the floor, and execute out of the half court. So we'll see what happens.
Bob Mowery puts it in the air. Eddie Duggar, the other official. Randy Monnier is the third official for this game tonight here at Kickapoo. Folks, this one goes out to the family and friends of a good friend, Steve Folks, who passed away long before his time earlier this week. Kickapoo with the first effort of the game, and the shot will not go for Robbie Lee. The Falcons are on the defensive glass. Glendale down floor with David Ross getting a start at a guard. He's just a sophomore. And you were discussing the youth that Glendale has employed in its starting lineup over the last several years, Steve, earlier, as Nybert gets it in the hole.
If memory serves me correctly, it doesn't always, but most of the time it does. You have to go back to '94 to find Coach Keltner with a veteran ball club, the TFC Championship Ball Club that year.
Brian George, no good on the jump hook.
Since then, youth has been the rule of the day at Glendale High School.
Of course, the great freshman class from, I guess it was 2 years ago. 4 of them starting for much of the season 2 years ago for Mike Keltner. Several of them still here. The miss by Clark. A third chance. The Falcons cannot get it in with Wes Pickering, and it's out of bounds to Kickapoo.
And meanwhile, on the other end of the floor, Roy Green has relied on the same 4 or 5 core group that he no longer can. Talking about Ryan Helming and Kevin Chisholm and some of those folks who have played since they were sophomores. And this group, while they might seem a little bit older than Glendale, they're about the same in experience.
2-0 Falcons. We've just started at Kickapoo High School. With the drive to the hole, Chad Morris is fouled, and they'll call it on the floor, I believe.
Kickapoo always has liked to push things. They've always had active guards who like to take the ball to the baskets, and that's exactly what Chad Morris did there.
Pickering the foul, his first, and the first against either team. We've played 1 minute 48 seconds. 1 basket belonging to Corey Nybert. Morris no good on the first of 2.
Chad Morris saw some time last year as a junior. Brian George did also. The rest of these guys have almost no varsity experience before this year.
And Roy Green has got to be cringing. His team missed 5 free throws in the 4th quarter against Parkview Tuesday night. Here's Ross from the left elbow. So a 4-0 start for the Glendale Falcons on the road here tonight at Kickapoo. On the other end, Robbie Lee gets it in the hole.
He had good position down there on the block.
There has been some shuffling in the Kickapoo roster over the last few weeks since the last time we saw them against the Falcons on January 3rd. Several players have chosen to part company, and Ryan Stock has been brought up from the JV, and he's in the starting lineup. The 3 spins out for Nybert. It's out of bounds, and Kickapoo will get it.
Right off the inbound play, the 6'5" Nybert was not shy about casting the 3 ball from the inline there.
A couple of pretty good showings in some tournaments recently for the Chiefs. They got wins in the Nixa tournament over Nevada and Greenwood. A Nixa tournament that rarely sees a Springfield school play in it. Springfield Public School, at least. Greenwood and Kickapoo were both in this year's version of that long-standing tournament down in Nixa. Chiefs lost one of those heartbreakers by 2 to the host Eagles in that tournament. They also placed second in the tournament at Coffeyville, Kansas. 3 ball is off the mark for Stock, and we'll get a travel called against Glendale.
Carter Clark had the rebound, but shuffled his feet too many times.
Chiefs were second in Coffeyville. They beat Tulsa McLean, and they beat Leavenworth, which Roy Green called a great win. Lost in the championship to Shawnee Mission East. Here's Stock. Can't get it in, and Nybert pulls it down. At the top, Ross for 3. And that hit the top of the backboard, and the trail official, Eddie Duggar, had the call.
It seems like Kickapoo would like the pace of this ball game a little bit more than Glendale, but it's, on the other hand, it's been the Falcons who've been forcing things.
Inside, George. Blake Will stood his ground in there and didn't allow anything. On the other end, Nybert is going to be called for lowering that shoulder.
And credit Chad Morris for establishing his defensive position and not letting it go. Morris took the charge, and his team will get the ball.
George will come out, and Rontori Jones is into the Chiefs lineup. 6'7" junior, wearing 44. Here is Jones against Blake Will.
That was a nice move to the basket there.
He makes his presence known very quickly.
And he had an easy time getting position inside also.
Carter Clark from the left side, a long way out. Jones the rebound. 2 points and a board now for Jones in just a few seconds. Shot will not go, but Jones is able to get it out front. Kickapoo came back to beat Glendale 52-49 a little over a month ago. Glendale led after each of the first 3 quarters. Jones misses this time. Pickering comes left wing to Nybert and back up front. Pickering off the dribble, and Jones is there for it. Forced the issue that time. And it's Morris with the collision. No call either way. Glendale coming out. Pickering to the hold. No. Ball stripped from Clark and picked up and put back in by Wes Pickering, and we're going to have a foul, I believe, after the shot.
Wes Pickering was right there to pick up that loose ball. Basket counts, and the foul goes against Robbie Lee. That is the first team foul against the Chiefs.
And number 3, Neil Stafford, is into the Chiefs lineup, a 6-foot junior guard. So Glendale gets the 2 and the ball. Clark has to chase it down. 2:44 to go, first quarter. 6-4 Falcons. David Ross out front. Pickering dumps it down for Nybert. Cross court to Clark, and now Blake has it knocked away by Jones.
Rontori Jones has been very active since coming in for Brian George.
Mark Mayer now back in for Kickapoo. He was on the all-tournament team at Coffeyville. Had a 20-point game against Parkview Tuesday, and had 13 in the first meeting with Glendale. Down low it goes to Wes Pickering.
Outstanding pass from Corey Nybert. Put the ball on the floor, drew the defense toward him, and then found the open man.
Jones again. Gets it back himself and cannot hit it.
Looked great on the play, 10 style points, but couldn't get it to drop.
On the other end, Carter Clark beat everybody.
The Glendale Falcons have played extremely well here in the first quarter.
To the hole is Ryan Stock still can't get it in. The other way, Pickering, and Glendale is rolling.
Well, the Chiefs have been able to get good shots. They just can't get them to drop. A lot of in and out on their end tonight.
8 in a row for the Falcons. And this is a lot like the first quarter was in the game at Glendale. That hit the support above the backboard, out of bounds. Robbie Lee not too happy as he comes out, and George back in. Brian George pretty much at 100%. He hadn't played hardly any when we saw them January 3rd, but he's back to full strength now. Trying to get out of there with it is Stock, and the Chiefs control. Left wing three is short. Out of bounds. Glendale ball with under a minute to go in the first quarter.
Ryan Stock thought he had the open three-pointer there, left it a little bit short.
Here's Jason Hale into the lineup for Kickapoo. Senior 6'4". Glendale will work on its 8-point run. The turnaround for Nybert. And that clips the top of the backboard.
We've seen that a lot so far, haven't we?
Technically, I believe, unless it hits the bars behind the board, it's still in, even if it hits a little bit of the top of the board.
Corey Nybert with a steal almost.
Down to 35 seconds left in the first. There's a nice pass and cutting through, but the shot won't go. Second try again and a jump ball.
Rob Will was right there to make sure that wasn't going to fall. And again, the Chiefs come close, but they can't get it to drop.
Mark Mayer had a couple of chances, and the ball cleanly tied up. But the Falcons throw it out of bounds. So Kickapoo will have a chance at the last shot of quarter number one. And they'll send in Chad Morris in place of Stafford. Might look for Mayer here. He brings it up. They can free him up. He could hit the three in a heartbeat. Instead, it's Morris spinning it out. And in the last seconds of the first quarter, a shot won't fall for David Ross from long range. And at the end of one at Kickapoo High School, the Falcons of Glendale lead the Chiefs 12-4. Don West and Steve Barnes at Kickapoo. Glendale up 12-4 at the end of one, and the Chiefs couldn't throw it in the ocean for a lot of the first quarter.
Well, they hit the water. They just couldn't get it to stay in. I've never seen so much in and out in the one quarter of basketball that we just witnessed. Pass goes inside to Brian George. Chiefs will try to get it to drop here in this quarter. And again, it just won't go.
That's how it's been going for Kickapoo right there. If you just tuned in, that's the game.
And meanwhile, on the other end, Mike Keltner's Glendale Ball Club has played extremely well, and that'll tell you.
Look
right
at that.
there. 2 for 17 for the Chiefs. Pickering with the miss, Will with the tap. Nice offensive board and a foul. Corey Nybert stuck his hand in there. He's played well also. Foul will go against Rontori Jones. That's his first, the team's second. There you get a look at Corey Nybert, the 6'5" junior, will be at the free throw line for a pair.
Falcons have won 7 of their last 8. They won the tournament at Clinton here a week or so back.
Nybert doesn't get the first one. Been on Mike Keltner's varsity ball club since he was a freshman. Robbie Lee back in, Brian George out for Kickapoo. Nybert came away empty as Lee grabs the rebound. Now Morris for the Chiefs. Baseline's cut off, so he did the follow away. That wouldn't work either. Clark the rebound. Not much has worked for the Chiefs on the offensive end tonight. There's Will inside to Nybert. Back out to Will. Now Pickering on the side. Clark. Out to Will, and this is the Glendale Ball Club we've been used to watching right here.
Well, this is a good way for Kickapoo to defend it too, Steve. The Falcons don't have a sharpshooter out there that can bust this zone right now.
That one won't fall for Clark. Will get it to drop, however. Rob Will got inside position on Rontori Jones. Biggest lead of the game for the Falcons. Morris beyond the arc. Jones trying to get open. Rob Will's done a nice job defensively on him. And there's the penetration from Stock. Won't fall. Jones the offensive board, and he'll draw a foul.
Should be number 2 on Corey Nybert. It's hard to stop a move like that when you get ahead of steam and turn yourself around and head for the basket.
As Rontori Jones gets ready to shoot, Bratton Harris will come in for the first time, replacing Chad Morris. There's the 6'7" junior center. And that rimmed out.
Still won't fall. Nothing will.
Somebody check that basket. It'll be interesting to see when we switch at halftime if Glendale has that problem down here.
Every game I've seen lately has been like this. And I haven't seen any teams play more than once. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's you.
Guess so.
Jones gets it to fall. That's 3 for him.
Went to a game with Rob the other night over at Baptist Bible College. His Christian or Central Bible College team was playing there, and it was 18-17 at halftime in a college game with shooting percentages like this.
Off the side of Rob Will's head, that's a turnover for Glendale. Down low to Brian George, and he'll draw a foul. They'll hang it on Pickering from behind. Brian George will go to the free throw line. That is the second against Pickering. 5th foul against the Falcons. Brian George, 6'9" and a junior. Came on strong in the second half of last year. That's his first point of the game. Kickapoo's had things go their way the last couple of years. They'll be the underdog in the district tournament this time around. The Parkview Vikings will claim the top seed. Now Glendale on offense. Beyond the arc is Falcons work it around. Will has it.
Tell you something about the future for the Chiefs.
Pickering missed it from 3. He'll wind up with his own rebound. George blocked it, however, and the Chiefs will get it. Nice play from Brian George.
Kickapoo's junior varsity team is undefeated. Beat Glendale tonight 60-42.
Lee leaves the 3 short. Pickering stands flat-footed and took it away from Brian George.
Their freshmen are undefeated. Their 8th grade lost 1 game, and their 7th grade is undefeated.
Wow, pretty good. It's consistent anyway. David Ross tried to lay it in. George would have none of it. Second block in as many possessions for Brian George.
The 8th and the 7th grade, of course, out at Cherokee, just south of here.
Chad Morris back in for the Chiefs. Inbound pass comes to Will. He'll shoot, surrounded by Chiefs, and miss everything. However, that pass is going to go out of bounds. Too strong for Mark Mayer. Glendale by 8 at 14-6. Matches the Falcons' record so far this season. Working our way toward the 5-minute mark in the first half. There's Rob Will through the lane. He missed it, but he'll get a foul. Got smacked in the head on the way to the hoop. Bratton Harris will get the foul. His first, team's third. Here comes Robbie Lee back in. And Mr. Harris will take a seat. Actually, he'll head straight to the locker room. Mike
Keltner has won over 2/3 of his games at Glendale. I went as far tonight, Steve, as to figure the winning percentages for Mike and Roy. They're so close, and they've just got a year's difference in their tenures here at these schools. Mike is 240 and 116. That's 674. And Roy is 256 and 129, and that's 665.
Have extra time today, did you?
A little.
Well, recall, I guess it was 3 years ago now, working on it anyway, that both coaches won their 200th game in the same week. And I believe we had both of their 200th wins right here on Cable 6. Foul underneath. Glendale will get the ball. And we're going to take time out. Roy Green would like to talk to his ball club. 4:45 to go in the first half. Glendale by 10. Falcons with the 16-6 advantage. All Glendale so far over at Kickapoo, as you see the student body enjoying things tonight. Having fun no matter what the score is. Glendale on offense. Just 6 points. And look at that. Glendale dominating on both offensive and defensive glass. Blake will get the basket. All 5 starters have scored now.
29, Steve. That's a ton of missed shots in 12 minutes.
Brian George will try to convert. He backed in on Blake Well, missed it, grabbed his own rebound, and put it in. That's what he was trying to do all the time. First shot set up the second. Still a 10-point Glendale lead. Ross with it. He'll find Thomas in the corner, and he drains the 3.
Jack Thomas got hot out at Glendale at 3 threes and scored 15 points coming off the bench the first time these teams played.
Nice look by David Ross there to figure out who was open. That's not as easy as it looks. Glendale held Hillcrest to just 4 points in the second quarter Tuesday night. The Chiefs looking for their 6th in the quarter tonight. Stock will get his own miss and miss again. Out of bounds to the Falcons. Ron Torrey Jones back in as the Kickapoo shuttle system continues. Robbie Lee will take a seat. Now some pressure in the backcourt for the first time tonight. Roy Green trying to get some points from his defense. And they get a turnover out of it. Now Chad Morris will push it up the floor. He'll get it to George. Free throw line jumper is good. Ryan George with 5. Glendale still by 11. 21-10. David Ross with it. Jones cuts him off. Now David will start over again. Patience has never been a problem for Mike Keltner's ball club. Very well schooled in the half-court offense. And up by 11, why rush?
Well, they're finding a way to beat a pretty good zone defense.
And there's the steal. Mayer in the open floor, missed it. Rebound to the Falcons, Wes Pickering. Baseball pass ahead for Thomas. Jones ran into him, no call. No walk, no foul.
Well, I know he didn't mean to run into him or anything. He's trying to get his balance, but that's got to be a foul.
Blake will give it up. Pickering has it now. Rolling toward the 2-minute mark in the half. Glendale not in any hurry at all. Turnaround from Will is short. Jones will grab it. Chiefs with a little bit more urgency. Brian George missed it, and he'll get called for an offensive foul.
I thought I saw the elbow kind of get loose there first, and then it was called with the second little bump. Another player control foul. 5 team fouls apiece now in the half.
Give Blake Will some credit for holding his ground. Falcons bring it across. That's where Thomas hit the 3 last time. Jones jumped out on him this time. Turnover will go to the Chiefs. So they've been able to get something started with the pressure that they've shown here in the second quarter. Corey Nybert will re-enter for the Falcons. Remember, Nybert, number 21 out there, has 2 fouls. Ryan Stock with the dribble. Now to Morris. 90 seconds to go in the half. Morris drove in, scores his first 2 of the night. 21-12 Falcons. Here they come across. Pickering on the side to Carter Clark, and he'll draw a foul. Last 2 possessions, they set it up. That one, they saw they had a little bit of a break, so they took that.
Jason Hale hit with a foul. Rob Will back in, and John Jenkins in now for the Falcons.
Replacing Pickering and Blake Will. There's Carter Clark.
Can you hear that? I hope you can hear that at home. That's got to be one of the most heinous sounds I've ever heard, especially if you're trying to shoot a free throw. Somebody's rubbing on a balloon. Is that what that is?
Yep. Might have affected that shot, too. Kickapoo with a chance to creep back into this one. They trail by 9. There's your time remaining in the first half. Jones left it short. Rob Will, the rebound. Out to Clark. Almost taken away. Clark pulls his dribble. That's Jenkins. Once again, the Falcons are in no hurry, holding on to a 9-point advantage. Killing 40 seconds is not a problem for them usually.
Well, in the January meeting, it was 6 at halftime with Kickapoo on top. Or with Glendale on top, I'm sorry. And the Chiefs knew all along that they were right in it, came back and won it. This time, the Falcons are going to shoot for a little bit bigger margin and talk things over.
Kickapoo defense pushing the offense high. Now we should see something. That's Nybert with it. He'll look into Rob Will, who had great position but couldn't finish. Now the Chiefs with the last shot. Morris all the way, but he missed the layup.
That could have been a huge swing there, Steve.
It certainly could. Glendale has played extremely well here in the first half. They have come over here to the Kickapoo gym, which is not an easy place to play, and they'll walk out with a 9-point advantage.
Halftime at Kickapoo, the Glendale Falcons on top 21-12 over the Kickapoo Chiefs. Anytime you hold a team to 12 points, you're doing pretty well.
There's no question about that. Kickapoo has really had problems shooting the basketball. They've had good shots, but you have to give Glendale some credit defensively also. It's kind of strange how the games always tend to be low scoring when Glendale's involved.
Glendale spread out the scoring. Pickering had 6, Will 4, Thomas a single 3-pointer. And then David Ross, Blake Will, Corey Nybert, and Carter Clark all with 2 each. As for the Chiefs, Brian George with 5, Ron Torrey Jones had 3, Robbie Lee 2, and Chad Morris 2, and that is the extent of it. It was 12-4 Falcons at the first quarter break after a 4-4 start. That finish to the first quarter is really what set the teams apart.
That's been the difference in it so far, and from the Glendale perspective, Coach Keltner really has to be happy with the way his team has played offensively. They've been very patient. They've had baskets off their half-court offense. They've run their fast break a couple of times to convert. They've shown they can play either way, fast or slow, and you have to like that going into halftime.
21-12, our halftime score. When we come back, we'll tell you how you can win a new Ford Ranger pickup truck. I got to get one of these suits. We'll be back to Kickapoo right after this. As we said, the other conference games tonight, Central is at Hillcrest. The Bulldogs have been playing very well lately. They're 3-2 in the conference, so is Glendale coming in. And Joplin is over at Parkview. The Joplin Eagles trying to pull a trick that no one has been able to pull so far, and that is knocking off Parkview. And that is going to be a tough task for them at the Viking Gym tonight.
Roy Green would like to have those kids' enthusiasm in about, probably what, 7 or 8 years out there on the basketball floor for him. This is Kickapoo's conference this year. It's their race to lose right now. And
Parkviews.
Yeah, Parkviews, right. Those people. Roy Green was saying before the ball game that they still have 7 games, counting tonight, to go in the regular season, but he's already trying to get his team to think about district and start playing together, start playing well, trying to build toward the district tournament out at Glendale. They'll start 2 weeks from Tuesday out there, and unless the wheels come off of the Vikings wagon, they'll have the top seed. The winner tonight should get the 2nd seed. The top 2 seeds in that tournament do not play in the first round. They get the bye into the 2nd round, so Roy Green wasn't sure which way he wanted it. In some ways, you want to rest and be ready to go, but then on another hand, you want to come out and play your first round game and be sharp and maybe catch the number 2 seed napping a little bit. But you definitely want to be playing for the championship. It'll be very interesting to see how the district turns out.
In just about 3 weeks, and it'll be Kickapoo, Glendale, Parkview, along with Joplin, Carthage, and Neosho in the district out at Glendale. We'll have second half action at Kickapoo in just a minute. 21-12, the Glendale Falcons with the lead over Kickapoo here at the half. Coming up Monday night here on TCI 6, we'll return to girls action over at the Pit. It'll be the Parkview Vikings and the Central Lady Bulldogs in girls action on Monday night live on TCI 6. There you go, 5 of 31. You thought it was about 30.
Isn't that unbelievable? And now from the Kickapoo perspective, you shoot that poorly in a half of basketball, and yet you're in single digits with the deficit.
That's right at about 15% for the Chiefs, and 9 of 24 is just around 34-35% for the Falcons, and both 2 of 6 from the free throw line. There's another chance to make some points up. Glendale up in the rebounding game, and the Falcons commit 7 turnovers to Kickapoo's 4.
You just have to think, if you shoot 15% from the floor in a half of basketball, you're going to be down 15, 18, even 20 points. When you're down by 9, you take that as a major blessing, try to wipe it out, forget about it, and come out and play much better, obviously, in the second half of this ballgame. I think that's exactly what Roy Green told his team in the locker room at halftime. I mean, it's not like they haven't had good shots. They just haven't made them. And we'll see if they can take that next step to get the ball to fall in the basket here in the second half.
It was 4-4 early on, and then Glendale scored 8 straight to end the first quarter. 12-4 at the end of 1, 21-12 at the end of 2.
And you get a look at the Chiefs breaking their huddle. Glendale's already out on the floor. 2 veteran coaches. Been coaching against each other for a long time.
14 years.
Springfield, Missouri, they've seen these their share of these kind of games. There have been some great games between these 2 teams over the years. We get ready to go here for the second half. 21-12, Glendale over Kickapoo. Wes Pickering, Mike Keltner's leading scorer. You got a look at the Glendale coach. Pickering with 6, Brian George, his leader, with 5. As Roy Green watches the second half unfold, Wes Pickering has the ball now, as Glendale will get it to start the second half. Come out with the same bunch that opened the ball game, and Carter Clark was open. David Ross, Wes Pickering, Blake Will, Corey Nybert, and Carter Clark for the Falcons in blue. Now the Chiefs. Robbie Lee had it stripped by Nybert. 3-on-2, Nybert will pick up the dribble. Nice defense there by the Chiefs to take away the break opportunity. Pickering from 3, and he'll hit it. The Falcons didn't cool off at all in the locker room.
They have really started hot, and they've got the lead up to 14 points. That's just what they needed, considering the letdown they had out at Glendale against these Chiefs.
Brian George walked with it, and don't look now, but in the first 51 seconds of the second half, it's 5-0 Falcons.
That's more points than Kickapoo scored in the first quarter.
And Roy Green's pregame fears of a letdown after the Parkview game might be valid. Still a long way to go, however. There's the steal for Stock. He'll draw the foul and go to the line.
Well, the Chiefs were really drained, Steve, by that 1-point buzzer beater loss Tuesday night against Parkview. And even though it's 3 nights later, you know, that's still on their minds, and coaches at least have to think about the fact that their team might suffer a letdown.
Ryan Stock has joined the starting lineup recently and given the ball club a lift. He gets his first point tonight. 26-13. Glendale's doubled up on Kickapoo. 1 out of 2 for Stock, but Robbie Lee will grab the rebound. He'll pass it across the lane to Jones, and he'll lay it in. Ron Torrey Jones with 5. Began the game on the bench. As the Falcons work on offense, they have controlled the tempo from the output. Jones blocked the shot, but Clark got his own rebound and put it back in. Sometimes when you get your shot blocked, you give up. Now there's Jones on the offensive end, high off the glass, and he has 7. Ron Torrey Jones trying to get the Chiefs started. Blake Will got too far under the basket there. Tried to shoot. Coach Keltner up on that one. You see him at the very bottom left of your screen. This now disappeared. 28-17 Glendale. Off the inbound pass, Nybert has the 3-ball roll out. Remember, that was the basket that was giving the Chiefs all the trouble.
First couple shots went in, not that one.
Jones down low. Can't make the shot. He'll get his own rebound. Missed that one too. But Ryan Stock tapped it in. Somebody forgot to block him out. Mayer tried for the steal, didn't get it. Rob Will underneath. Now he'll have to get it back out. There'll be a foul as Clark tried to shoot.
Well, that was a hack.
Stock with the foul, his first. Team's first.
Tell you, Steve, Ron Torrey Jones has got to, Kickapoo needs him to play well, because he's got to give Brian George a break, and he's got to make himself an intimidating presence on both ends. He's played pretty well tonight, but they need him badly to play well game in and game out to stay up with the teams they have to play.
Carter Clark hit the first one. He has 7. Get a look at the junior there. Now he has 8. Glendale, one of the top free throw shooting teams in the area, making 68% of their shots. Wide open is Mayer. 3-ball is good. First 3 of the night for Kickapoo. In fact, both 3-pointers, well, 2 of the 3 have come here in the second half. Jack Thomas had one for Glendale in the early going. That's Pickering with it, and he'll draw a foul. Several Chiefs were in the area. Let's see if Mr. Jones is not the guilty party, and he is. That'll be his second. 5:28 to go in the third quarter. Chiefs down by 8. Glendale led by 9 at the break. Off the inbound, Rob Will had great position. Ron Torrey Jones couldn't do anything except let him make it. 6 for Will. Roy Green didn't like that. Stock on the dribble. Now to Lee to Morris for 3. Good. Chiefs starting to heat up from outside just a little bit. Here comes Neil Stafford back in. Stock will take a seat. We'll see if the Falcons have the answer. All of a sudden, it's a 7-point game.
Wow.
Ball spins out of David Ross's hands. Morris is right there, and he'll draw the foul against David Ross.
Just an unforced error there, and then an unnecessary foul on the other end for Ross. You shoot 15% in the first half if you're Kickapoo, and you're within 7 points in the third quarter.
As we feel the momentum start to switch, Mike Keltner calls timeout. We'll be back. Chad Morris is at the free throw line as the Chiefs continue their comeback. Mike Keltner knows when to call timeout as good as any coach I've ever seen. He really has his finger on the pulse of the ball game. We could feel the momentum start to switch. Coach K didn't want it to go any further without a chat, and he immediately called for the timeout. Morris makes 1. Now it's a 6-point Falcon lead. three Chiefs surround West Pickering, and they come up with the turnover.
Ball out of bounds there on the far sidelines, what we had.
And that's one thing the Roy Greens ball clubs have always done well, is pressure the ball. Over the last 2 or 3 years, they've come up with a ton of points off their defense. And there you see Kickapoo starting to heat up, and Glendale as well.
That's in the second half now, only the second half.
Of course, they were 5 for 31 in the first half.
That's 161. I figured it up.
Nybert has it. Glendale needs a bucket. The junior will try to supply it, and he'll get fouled from behind by Chad Morris. Corey Nybert will go to the line. He was 0 for 2 in the first half. Glendale led by 9, 21-12 at the break. Now they lead 33-26. That one rimmed out. Rontori Jones will clean the glass. Kickapoo with a chance to get within 4 as Lee casts the 3. No good. Rob Will get the rebound. David Ross in a double team. He'll go to the deck and find Pickering. Nice job by Ross there. Glendale will keep it.
Great defense. Falcons are just in a shambles right now offensively.
Rob Will has it, and the whistle blows away from the ball.
Yeah, I saw that push in the lane from Robbie Lee into the back of Carter Clark.
Lee with his second. 4th team foul for the Chiefs. Off the inbound, Nybert will drive through the lane. He'll find Clark wide open on the baseline. 2 defenders went toward Corey Nybert, and he gave it up to the open man. The lead is 9 once again for the Falcons. Ryan Stock directs traffic for the Chiefs. Now to Lee, another whistle away from the ball.
Rob Will, this time holding Jones in there.
Jones has been very active inside tonight.
Bob Mowry keeping it clean in the lanes on both ends.
Off the inbound, Morris with the fake, high off the board and in. Chad Morris with 8. Now this is more like it, 35-28. Teams really struggled in the first half. Will lost it out of bounds. They say Morris touched it last. Glendale will keep it. Roy Green takes a look up at the scoreboard. Sees his team down by 7. Ross in the lane. Left it short. Mayer the rebound. Here come the Chiefs. 4 on 3. Mayer, 4-3. Rimmed out. Clark the rebound. Now to Ross. Nice look inside to Nybert. Good, and a foul. Did you see the spin on that ball?
Well, I saw how high it went off the glass. I didn't catch the spin. I was watching the monitor.
Hit the front of the rim. And he had that reverse spin on it, and it spun right in. Chad Morris, the foul, his second. He and Mayer will leave. 1 shot for Nybert. 6 for the junior. 10-point Falcon lead. So far, they have been able to answer the Chiefs' rally here. And on the road, sometimes that's a tough thing to do when the home team gets a little momentum. Down low to Jones, over Will, and it's good. 9 points for Rontori Jones. Don, we've been in this gym plenty of times as there's a foul in the backcourt where it almost seems like the roof's going to come off. This place is so loud, and that's another thing Glendale has done, is taken the very vocal Kickapoo student body out of this also.
Pretty good turnout tonight, just not all that vocal yet. They probably will be in the 4th quarter.
Well, there has not been much to cheer about for the home crowd, and you got to give Glendale credit for that. There's Nybert. Spots up just inside the arc. Ron Torrey Jones thought he had bounced it off one of the Falcons' legs, but Mr. Official disagreed. 8-point Falcon lead, 38-30 with 2:33 to play. Jones steals the lob pass intended for Will. Chiefs could get to within 5. There's Harris with the herky-jerky layup. Now it's a 6-point game. Remember, it was 9 at halftime. Ross across.
This is where Glendale has been able to come up with the answer all along, Steve.
Let's see what they do on this possession.
But if they don't, it could easily be 5 next time down.
Coach Keltner's ball club in no hurry. Will shoot over Jones, and he left it short. And Harris got position on the taller Corey Nybert. Now the Chiefs down by 6. Stock will move it between the circle. Down low to Jones. Will knocked it away.
I said 5, but they could get it to 4 or 3, couldn't they?
Neil Stafford tried to set a screen against Rob Will to free Ron Torrey Jones. Stafford hit the much taller Will and bounced off. Went straight to the deck. That's why that play didn't work. Lee will hit it for 3.
There it is. 3-point game.
38-35.
Game's really similar to the one we saw at Glendale.
And for the first time all night, the crowd's into it. We'll see how the Falcons respond. Pickering has it. They'll dribble on the right side of the lane. Now Will's open from the free throw line. He'll put it on the floor and get it taken away. Robbie Lee will come away with it. Chiefs could tie with a 3-ball here. They'll go down low to Jones over Will, and he left it short.
Don't reach. Don't need to foul here.
Rebound for Carter Clark. Ahead to Nybert to the basket, and good. Corey Nybert knew exactly what he wanted to do with the ball before he cut it, and that was the key to the play. Falcons back up by 5. Time remaining right there in the third quarter. Let's see what the Chiefs do as Neil Stafford has it. Stafford works against Nybert. Now he'll give it up to Stock. There's your play. Let's see what that signal meant. Stock all the way. He'll draw the foul. Count it.
That means I go to the hole, guys. Get out of my way.
Clear the deck. I'm taking it in. David Ross with the foul. It could be a 2-point game. The teams combined for 33 points during the first half. They've scored more than that in this quarter. Stock's free throw.
Offensive violation there. Jones fell into the lane before the ball was released.
Not exactly what the Chiefs needed there. Now we'll see if the Falcons can hit one at the buzzer. They have 5.5 seconds. Have to take it the length of the floor. Batted away by Neil Stafford. So we'll try it from the side. Clark's the trigger man. He almost had it taken away, and it will go to the Kickapoo Chiefs.
Went off of Clark's leg, and he was still standing out of bounds.
And now Mayer comes back in. One of many potential 3-point shooters.
They'd like to free him up for one.
Brian George will come in also.
Only 4 seconds here, but several options Kickapoo could use, depending on where the ball ends up.
Let's see what happens. The Stock gets it into Mayer. Now Morris for 3 at the buzzer will not fall. Don't go anywhere. The Falcons and the Chiefs have 8 more minutes to go. Glendale led by 9 at half. Now they lead by 3 after 3.
Mike Keltner looks on as his team tries to hang on at the start of the fourth. 3-point Glendale lead. And Kickapoo very nearly tied it at the end of the quarter. Here is for the tie, and it will not go for Stock. Scramble in the lane. Lee picks it up and can't get it to fall. So Glendale holds. Ross comes away to Clark. Blake Will into the lane, and there's a paint foul again, if you will, called by Bob Mowry.
Chad Morris tried to reach in from the back. Glendale will go to the line. That's Jack Thomas.
7th team foul. Kickapoo not close to shooting yet. Glendale has 2 more to give. And Jack Thomas cannot get the front end. This game is so similar to the one 5 weeks ago. Jones ran over a man, can't get it in. It's saved inbounds to Jack Thomas again. Ross almost stepped on the half-court line. Pickering up front, Will at the top, and Lee the rebound. Still 40-37. Falcons, 6.5 minutes to play. To the hole, it will not go for Stock. Jones picks it up, can't get it in from 2 feet. Wow.
It is amazing how many times Kickapoo has missed from point-blank range.
Glendale dodges another bullet, and they'll benefit on the chief foul this time. On Mayer, his first. And go back to the line with 6:15 to play.
You keep mentioning the first meeting over at Glendale. Kickapoo won it on a buzzer beater. That's not exactly a friendly environment either. Neither is this one for any opposing team, and it'll be interesting to see if the visitor can come out the victor both times.
One thing about it, if you're Kickapoo, you've been in this position a bunch of times this year. Free throw won't go for Ross. Roy's probably never played as many 1- and 2-point games as he's had this season.
Not in the last couple of years, anyway.
And this one goes. And that's Branton Harris. And it's a 1-point game. Kickapoo has never led. The last tie was at 4-4. Pickering right side. 5.5 minutes to go. Tried to step between 3 defenders and lost it. Kickapoo could take its first lead. Jones, no, and fouled the second try after the pass from Orion Stock.
Ron Torrey Jones active again in there. Just can't get it to drop. We'll see if he can hit his free throw.
Carter Clark gets the foul. Jones will shoot for the lead.
Just shows how quickly the worm can turn. You shoot 16% in the first half and are tied right now.
40-40. 5:17 to go. And still tied. And there's a travel on the rebound. All it could have been. Neil Stafford in for the Chiefs. Mayer to the bench. Kickapoo's ball still shooting for its first lead. Morris replaces Harris. Trouble getting it in, and finally to Morris. Chiefs will be a little patient as Glendale sags back a bit defensively. Under 5 minutes to go. And to the hole again is Ryan Stock. He called his play again.
Behind a couple of screens that left the path open. He laid it in.
First Kickapoo lead. Ross. Up high for Nybert, and there's Kickapoo coming the other way again. The layup won't go. Rebounded by Pickering. Falcons trying to get back even or ahead with a three. They'd settle for even right now. Pickering. Not there. Jones the pull.
Might have been the biggest rebound of the game so far.
Ron Torrey Jones has made a huge difference. Again, it's Stock with that drive down the right side of the lane, and it's stripped from him before he got to the hole.
The Chiefs shot so poorly in the first half, but yet we're down by single digits, 9 points. That's the key to this so far. Keeping the other team in sight until you can get your act together.
Jones pulls in the inbounds pass. Nearly threw it away. Stock has it tipped away, and Chiefs will inbound again. 3:49 to play.
And on the Glendale side, they need somebody to step up and make a basket. They have not scored in the fourth quarter.
Picked up by Pickering in the Chiefs' lane. And coming from behind is Morris with his fourth foul.
Bratton Harris getting ready to come in, and it'll be for Morris.
They want Morris in there at the end, so they'll bring him out for now.
Chad Morris obviously not happy as he'll take a seat.
David Ross will have 1 and 1. This will be the last 1 and 1 for Glendale. 2 from here on out on every Kickapoo foul after this one.
That's their first point of the quarter, and we're over halfway through it.
This one would be to tie it back up. .42 apiece. Stock goes to the well again and comes up with another one.
3 times from the right side of the lane.
I believe he's 3 for 4 on that play. Here's a left side three that's no good. Nybert almost had a second chance. Glendale able to keep it. Clark bounces it in for Pickering, and a foul before the shot went up on Jones. And that will be 2. 2 throws now for the Falcons. Kickapoo still has 1 to give, or Glendale 1 to give before the Chiefs shoot 1 and 1. George is back, and Mayer returns. So George and Jones are both in there now. You don't see that. I don't think we've seen that tonight.
I don't think we have for more than 1 or 2 possessions, maybe. Not any length of time.
The second is good for Pickering. And it's 44-43 Chiefs with 3 minutes to go. Allmayer slipped, or Stock that time, this time down the left side of the lane, out of bounds to the Chiefs. Into George and out to Stock. Would he try it again?
Well, he's looking to the bench. We'll see.
2.5 minutes to go. Kickapoo up by 1 will make Glendale come out and guard. Stock looked like he might have wanted it. And timeout. Timeout, Kickapoo. 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go, and the chess game has begun out on the prairie. 44-43, Kickapoo. Stay with us. Kickapoo by 1 with the ball, 2:04 remaining. This matchup never fails, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Let's see what the Chiefs went over in the huddle. Stock comes to Lee. He'll try the 3. And it's short. I don't think that's what Roy had in mind.
His teams have never been shy about shooting a three-pointer.
Now Glendale a chance to get back on top. Clark will bring it back out. There is 1:22 remaining. It's kind of hard to pick out the 1 there on your screen. Here's a 3, no good for Nybert. Glendale on the offensive board. Ross bounces it, but it's touched out of bounds. Glendale ball. And who do we have? Morris checking in.
Glendale scored only 3 points here in the fourth quarter.
They are down 1, winding down to 1 minute to go. (44-43) Kickapoo. Clark finds Pickering. No! And Jones gets the board. And Pickering fouls Stock. Wow.
I'm telling you, it's that basket again down there.
Now, it's not 1-1 yet. That was the last one to give for Glendale. Here's Mayer checking in, and another Kickapoo timeout. There's your time. The Chiefs lead it by a point. 44-43. It was 12-4 Glendale at the at the end of the first quarter. 21-12 Falcons at the half, and 40-37 at the end of 3.
And there you see a very tense Mike Keltner trying to figure out how to make that ball stay in the basket. His team has not had any success at all with that in this fourth quarter.
Monday night girls action at the pits. The Parkview Lady Falcons, the Central Lady Bulldogs. Live Monday night at 7:30 here on Cable 6. And Mizzou Tiger basketball returns to Cable 6. The Tigers take on the Colorado Buffaloes. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. Glad we were able to get a few Mizzou games on.
Be interesting to see how they build off that exciting Kansas victory. First test will come in a couple of days when Wake Forest comes to town.
Number 1 and number 2 just a few days apart. Well, 45.9 seconds left. They'll try to keep the students off the floor. And here we go. And the inbounds pass is stolen by Ross. Glendale down 1 in the final minute. Will they go for 1 and the win? They'll take the shot if it presents itself. Take the three, not there for Nybert, put back up, no. Tipped, Will fouled from behind, and he'll go to the line to shoot for the lead with 14 seconds to go.
Foul was against Mark Mayer, and Corey Nybert had too long to think about it on the wing there.
That's right. George will come in for Jones. Blake will shoot two. 14.9 seconds left. Will has just 2 points on the night.
Again, the old in and out. Kickapoo students like that.
Now, can he tie it? Wow, we are tied. Kickapoo can shoot for the win if they get it in their forecourt, but they throw it away. And 8 seconds for the Falcons. And Glendale takes time. Stay with us. 44 all with 8 seconds left. Glendale has a chance to win it. 8 seconds remaining.
Did Coach Keltner draw up the winning play, or are we going to have overtime?
Clark will inbound if he can find a spot over there. In for Pickering. Tipped by Jones. 2.6 to go. And Mike has another timeout, and he wants it. So he's got the ball on the baseline now. There's going to be time for one, maybe two passes.
And Don, you mentioned it earlier, and how big does it loom now? They don't really have that sharpshooter that they've had in the past, the one guy that they can look for on the outside who can knock it down for them. And it'll be very interesting to see what the Falcons do. And if they get it in here, it'll be 2 buzzer beaters, 2 meetings, with a visiting team winning each time.
If not, we'll put up 4 minutes and duke it out some more.
That's right. Have we had overtime yet this year?
Not this year.
Well, I guess you can blame me for that. We'll see. On the defensive end, Roy Green says no fouls, boys. Make them earn it, but no foul. And not surprisingly, the defensive team breaks the huddle first. Mike Keltner saying this is what it's all about, fellas. Let's see what we can do.
Loves being in this position. Clark to bring it in, and another. Didn't catch who called the timeout. We'll see as Eddie Duggar reports it. Kickapoo this time. And man, oh man.
Hope both teams have a bunch of black markers over there. You'd hate to run out right about this time, wouldn't you? 2.5 seconds to go. The old rivals meeting again. Mike Keltner drawing the play. Roy Green telling his defense exactly what he wants them to do. With just 2.6 seconds to go, you have to be concentrating on the defensive end. Not really going to be time for a shot, I wouldn't think.
Well, they have to worry about not fouling, but also not allowing a relatively easy shot.
And we'll see what the Glendale Falcons can come up with off the inbound. Carter Clark, the leading scorer, with 10. Wes Pickering has 9. Corey Nybert with 8.
This time Pickering inbounds instead of Clark. Clark's not even in there. Into Nybert. 3 from the corner, no. And we're going overtime. So at the end of regulation, Kickapoo and Glendale are tied 44 apiece. These two teams are at it again. 44-44 with 4 minutes on the clock. This is the second year that the state changed varsity overtime periods to 4 minutes, up from 3. Kickapoo controls the tap. Morris splits the double team and scores in a heartbeat.
That's a nice move by Chad Morris and a great defensive stand for Kickapoo. They forced Corey Nybert into a tough shot to try to win the ball game.
Here is Nybert. And it's taken away. Mayer lost it to Ross. Nybert, this would be a 2. It's a 2. It's a 2 for Corey Nybert to tie it up.
And that's a big shot for him from a confidence angle. He's a little bit down that he couldn't win the ball game for his team, and he comes back and hits the shot that keeps it tied in overtime.
Morris, Lee, now Mayer. Looking for Lee, posting up. Oh, and he's blocked by Nybert. And then Morris is able to get it back between the double team, and it's good.
Chad Morris with all 4 of the Chiefs' points in the extra session.
Tipped out of bounds. Glendale's ball with 2:44 left in overtime. Falcons try to tie it back up. Clark doesn't want the 3 right now. George comes out for a rejection. And the Chiefs have come out looking better than Glendale in the overtime so far, especially Morris.
Well, they've been given a second chance.
Stock had it stripped again. Here comes Pickering. Gives it to Ross, 3-on-3. Clark to the hole. Good! And the blocking foul.
And that should be all for Chad Morris.
That's a big loss. He came out with all 4 of Kickapoo's overtime points.
He will take the rest of the night off with 12 points.
They do have it on the board. They just haven't told him yet. And now Eddie Duggar will report to Roy Green, and Morris will come out.
If you think about it, Kickapoo is very happy to be playing right now.
Now this right here amounts to a free timeout for Glendale because Roy's taking the extra time to sub.
And Coach Keltner took advantage of it by having his troops huddle up. Kickapoo shot so poorly in the first half, 16%. They're just happy to be here. Glendale has led throughout. They had a chance to win it at the buzzer and couldn't. They have to be a little bit down. It's only natural.
Glendale up as Clark gets the free throw in. 49-48 Falcons. Halfway through overtime. Stock looking and looking for George, and he's not there. Just covered by Will inside, and he has to just flip it back out. Stock through the lane. Pickering with the rebound for the Falcons, who are up 1 with the ball. Now Nybert can take a deep breath and say, come out and guard us. A minute 20 left in OT. Ross was covered up, but survives. Pickering. Kickapoo trying to foul, but not getting the job done. Scramble for the ball, and a jump ball. And tempers may flare a little bit, but nothing that'll get out of hand in a game like this. Possession arrow goes to Glendale.
Is that what you call a scrum?
That was the true sense of it right there. Branton Harris will replace Rontori Jones. So there is a decidedly smaller Kickapoo team now. 3-guard, 2 big man set on the floor for Roy now with 1:01 to go. 49-48, Glendale with the lead in the ball. Clark is covered and fouled.
Mike Mayer got a little bit too close.
Remember, this is 2 shots all the way now for Glendale.
Now Stafford back in, Harris out.
Carter Clark. Good enough.
Glendale's a good free throw shooting team in their win over Hillcrest on Tuesday. They went 8 for 8 in the final 2 minutes.
Clark leads all scorers with 15. Falcon lead is 3 in the final minute of overtime. There's George, plenty of time for a 2 right now. He can't get it, and there's a held ball, possession to Kickapoo.
Break for the Chiefs there.
Jones and Lee check back in at the turnstile. Inbounds comes out to Stock. Kickapoo does not need to be burning time. Lee for 3 in the tie. Oh, will it go? Yes! Incredible. All. Glendale a chance to win it again. Pickering scoops it down to Melbourne. And Kickapoo can tie with the 2. Lee has it blocked as time runs out. The 3 will not go, and the Glendale Falcons have won it as the fans storm the court at Kickapoo. Incredible finish.
And Corey Nybert turns out to be the hero anyway. He had a chance to win it in regulation, but missed a tough shot. Came up with a bucket on the offensive end and made the play defensively. And look at the Glendale Falcons crowd celebrating on the Kickapoo Chiefs court.
And Kickapoo loses in heart-stopping fashion yet again.
That is the 5th time this year they've lost a close ball game. 5 losses by a total of 9 points. And in an old Springfield basketball rivalry, neither team was able to defend their home court.
One of the best we've seen in a while as Glendale wins it 53-51 over the Kickapoo Chiefs. 44 all at the end of regulation. Carter Clark leads the way for Glendale tonight with 15 points. Pretty good balance on the Kickapoo side. Morris 12, Jones 10, and Ryan Stock with 9, but Glendale pulls it off here at Kickapoo, 53-51 in overtime. Remember Monday night? Girls action, Parkview over at the Pit to take on Central at 7:30 here on Cable 6. We hope you'll join us for that. For Steve Barnes, Don West. Had a good one tonight. Glendale wins 53-51 over Kickapoo in overtime. Good night from Kickapoo High.